Hi, it's Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Today is day 7 of our easy Christmas cards, and boy, is this a fun one. It's going to be the greatest, and I hope you'll stay tuned. So I was watching this video by Positively Papercrafts, and she made this card. Of course, I made it harder and made my life really too hard. And I wanted to go back to making it an easy card. And it is an easy card, but you have to have either lightweight paper or strong hands. So since I'm not that smart, I used heavy cardstock, and we'll just go from there. But this is what my first one turned out to look like, and it says Merry Christmas in the inside. I really liked it, but like I said, it was too much work. So the first step I'm going to eliminate was I used an embossed piece of cardstock for that top sheet, so I'm just going to go with a normal piece. My card is 5.5 inches tall by 4.25 inches wide, and so this piece is going to be, it's going to be 5.25 inches tall and 4 inches wide. And that's our first change. I like the idea of having something that's glittery. So anyway, so my first step was to make it easier by putting just a simple piece on the top instead of the other one. Then, this is where the hard part comes in. You're going to need 4 pieces of double-sided paper. Now, I put red ink around the outside edges of mine because I wanted to offset it, but you don't have to do that. You're going to need a 1.5 inch square, a 2-inch square, which I already folded, a 2.5 inch square, and a 3-inch square. So those are the size squares you're going to need. So let me show you what you're going to do. Let me go and start with a bigger one because you're going to be crying. I found it easiest to fold it in half first. This is not the way she did it. Hold on. And it's also not easy when your hands are not that strong to get these first folds in place. So what I did is I kind of pinched them together so that they were lined up, and then I took my bone folder and kind of pushed down on it to make sure I got my folds in the right place. And on the first one, I actually had Rich help me. I'm admitting it because it was not that easy. But we're going to do this one together, so you're going to see if I can do it. Hopefully you can do it too. And then you're going to fold it the other fold. If you've ever done any origami, this is kind of a basic origami fold, and I have done some origami on the channel, but I use origami paper, which is so much lighter than this was. And this is from that Stamps of Life card set, their paper pad. Now you're going to do it on a diagonal, and again, this is where it doesn't want to bend for you very easily. I found I had better luck with the smaller ones than I did with the bigger ones, so I don't know why that is. I got that in place. And as I got each point, I held the point in place and then used the bone folder. Okay, which one I need to do this way? Yeah, so you're going to fold it on the diagonal both ways. You'll see this enough times before I'm done that you'll get it. I'm going to make sure I get that in the right place. So you're going to fold it in half twice, and you're going to fold it on a diagonal. So when you're done, it's going to go like this. You'll have this section that'll kind of just fold into these little V's. Or I guess they're V's. Yeah, we'll call it V's. Then we're going to really use the bone folder on these. Oh, I almost said bone folder them down. You know that's my word. Burnish them. Burnish them down. Don't use my Sandy words. Okay, that's 2 of them. All right, one more time. We're going to fold it. We'll do it on the diagonal first this time so that you can see it that way first. And maybe that's the easiest way for you to do it. You want to line up your points and then get that one end down and then push the other end down. Then, okay, we did the diagonal that way. So now we're going to do the diagonal in the opposite direction. So you should have a plus sign basically in the middle when you're done with this. I'll show you that in a second. I'm sorry, this one's so small it's hard to see. Don't forget, use your bone folder. My bone folder is from Fiskars, in case you care. I bought it because of the shape of it, because I wanted something I could hold on to. Can you see that plus sign right there? You want that. Okay, so we did it on the diagonal. Now we're going to fold it in half. Ugh, this little piece is really little. Making sure you're lined up. Burnish it down. Bone folder it, whatever you want to do. Then you're going to open it up again. This time you're going to fold it in the other direction. So you do it diagonally on both directions and squared in both directions. Does that make sense? Hopefully. And then, once you've done that, you're going to want to put your paper in so that sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's harder to get these diamonds. And if you can't get your diamond, get one diamond to come out to work, and then your other one will kind of fall into place. I'll show you that right there. You're probably thinking, are we done? No, we have one more to do. Don't start crying yet. It's bad, I know. Alright, last one, diagonal first. We're going to do these diagonal things because maybe that's the easiest way to do it first when you're trying to line your paper up. And really hold on to it. Hold on to that point. Hopefully it's still lined up. You have to have these clean points, because if your points aren't straight, you're going to have trouble. And you're going to do it on the diagonal in the other direction. Also, make sure your papers are square when you cut them. If your papers aren't square, you're going to have a lot of trouble. I know you're thinking this is like the world's longest card, but really this is a super easy card. It's just me folding the paper that's taking a long time. Okay, now we got the diagonals done, so now all we have to do are the squares. One more square in the other direction. I know you're pretty impressed that I did this, huh? I'm pretty impressed I did it too, because let me tell you, I didn't think I'd be able to bend this paper, especially the bigger ones, because the bigger it is, the harder it is for me. At least that's what I'm telling myself. Okay, back to, we want to fold it. We want to see which way the folds want to go. My folds want to go like this, and you just push them in. If they don't like doing it on your own, you just push them in, and then use your bone folder. Believe it or not, that was the hardest part of the card. The rest of the card is going to be super simple. I'm going to go over everything with the bone folder one more time because I want these to be as flat as possible. The flatter they are, the better they're going to be on the card. And she did not glue hers down so that they stayed in place, and I'm going to glue mine down. Okay, are you ready to create a tree? I am going to make a stem to my tree, and I'm going to make it pretty long because I learned on the first one that you need a relatively long tree trunk. It doesn't matter if you're not great at cutting out a tree trunk. Clearly, you don't have to be, because look, I just whipped one out, and it's not that great, but it's a tree trunk. That's all we're saying. I just want to clean mine up a little bit so I have a straighter edge. That's not horrible. You don't see that much of it anyway. Okay. Oh, the other thing I did was I took a stamp. No, not a stamp. I took a punch. and I punched out a bunch of these little stars, and then I glued them together. So I have probably 5 or 6 of them glued together there. That's important too. You need those. And then I have my banner that I made for on my card, and I'm going to put that near the bottom, and I can't decide if I want to put a little ribbon under it or what I want to do. I have ribbon. I could put ribbon under it. Does ribbon match that? Let's go with a little ribbon. Hopefully I can lift this back up a little bit on the edges. Sure, why not? We'll be able to do that. So let's put our ribbon on first, just so we have that out of the way. So what I'm going to do with my glue, I'm going to put glue underneath my card base, or underneath my layer that I have here. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Then I'm going to take my ribbon, and I'm just going to lay my ribbon under the edge and into the glue, like that. Then I'm going to hold it down for a second until I can get a clothespin on it. And I have the cutest little clamps that one of my viewers sent me, and do you think I remember those when I'm getting out my supplies? No, I don't, but I have them right here. I should grab them and put them to use. And I'm going to use my scissors and just push that right under like that. I don't know why I always forget to put my ribbon down when I need it, when I need to get it in place. Let me see if it's even. Okay. Then I'm going to put down my banner. This way we won't forget about it, and you know I'll forget about it otherwise. I need to put, I'll move it that way. Maybe I'll move it this way. Maybe I won't move it at all. I need to hold that down for a second too. Now, our next step, I almost said I lost my tree trunk. I'm going to put my tree trunk in place. I'm just going to glue it down. And I'm going to no, I'm not going to glue that down. I made that up. I'm going to start with my first smallest piece. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue in the inside, up in there, up inside, like that. Then I'm going to take my second piece, and I'm going to put glue on the very top on both sides. Just the very top. You see that? Right there. And then I'm going to take it, and before I squeeze this shut, I'm going to make it so it's centered like that. Here's the next thing that I forgot. From the center, you're going to fold into the middle, your sides, so that they fold in like that. It'll be easier once they're not glued together, trust me. But, you know, if I'd have remembered that step, we'd have been doing great. But right now, we're doing just okay. Let me use my bone folder and see if I can get that to lay down a little bit better. Then, ooh, almost glued to the table. Then I'm going to take the next one, do the same thing. Don't glue these together before you do this if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing like me, then you're going to do it wrong. I'll show you on the other two exactly. Oh, I pulled that out. Yay! Okay, so let me pull that out, and then hold on. Then I'm going to take the other side, bend it in toward the center, like that, and then take the left one. You want to go all the way up to the top with your fold, so that you've got a point at the top. Now put glue up there. I probably just glued it to my table, and put glue on the back. And then we're going to put it inside the one before it. And you can hold those in place, or whatever you like to do. I didn't do as good a job as I would have liked to on the top one in gluing the pieces or putting them closer together. Folding them toward the middle is what I mean. I'm going to put a little glue in the second one to hold my little flaps down, because I like mine to be glued down. She did not do that. I am doing that because I thought it looked better once I had these glued in place. And I'm just going to hold it for a second just to make sure we've got it where we want it. Okay, now let's do our third one. Now you get to see how you're supposed to do it. You're going to take just the top flap. You're going to put your thumb toward the center, or on the center piece, and you're just going to fold that piece so that it's basically laying on that center line. I'm trying to make sure that I don't get it too far over there. And then use your bone folder to get it really well burnished. Same thing on the other side. You're going to fold it into the center like that. Let's do all of our folding before we're done. We're going to take our thumb, put it right there on the center, and then see if we can get that very top folded over. I'm telling you, the bigger ones are hardest to fold for me anyway. I didn't have as much trouble folding the little ones, but these bigger ones, they're problematic. And Rich is going to be really impressed because he told me that he didn't think I'd be able to do this. I said, oh, I'm doing it. Oh yeah, it's happening. It's going to be a go time for this one. I was like, this is the card I chose for my 7th card, and I'm doing it. Okay, we're good now. Okay, we've got everything that we need to have in place. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to open up the inside of our little ones. I'm going to put a little glue in there to hold them down, and just a little bit on the edges, inside the edges of our, what do I call that? I don't know, our other piece, because we want to glue our third section in there. Put a little glue top and bottom. Okay, I'm going to show you this upside down so you can really see this. See this back V? I put a little glue over here and a little glue over here. Then in this one I put a little glue in the front and a little glue in the back. And I'm just going to put that inside there. And then I'm going to squeeze it closed, making sure it's not only centered, but also that I've got a good grasp on those places I just put glue. That way we're going to make our glue stick and hold everything where we want it to. Okay? Then we're going to do our last one. We're going to put a little glue. I'm going to show it to you upside down so you can see it. In the front section, you're going to put a little bit of glue so that you can hold that down. Then in the back section, you're going to put a little bit of glue on the sides. And then on this piece, we're going to have to do the same thing because we're not going to be having another one to glue this one too. So I'm putting glue in the sides and on either side and the inside of this one. And then a little bit on the front and a little bit on the back. Okay, here's our tree upside down. We're going to put our fourth part of our tree in, pushing it in so it's even and centered, and then we're going to squeeze all of that together. And then before I go any further, I'm going to put a little bit of glue in the inside center of that piece, the biggest piece, so we can start or put our tree trunk in there. Your tree trunk needs to be long because you've got this piece that hangs down. So you want to make sure your tree trunk's got, it's got a little bit of room on it. hold all these down. I need to put more glue in that one. It doesn't want to stay shut. And then I'm gonna lay it down. I'm gonna hold it in place just like this and push on it. And I'm just gonna put glue all over it. Because I need to put his little star. I may have to cut off some of his trunk. I'm going to put his little star up here at the top. I might be up too high out of screen too. Okay. And then I am going to cut off a little bit of his trunk. Somehow this tree became a boy. I don't know why. Okay. Hold down the star, and then I'm going to push down all the components of the tree. See, this is where she left all of her parts of her tree unglued. But I didn't want mine sticking up so far because I figured if I put it in an envelope with all those pieces really sticking up, that it could really, I mean, it would really be thick. Then I'm going to take a little bit of red marker and I'm just going to go around the I'm going to outline my tree. I tried using the marker so that I wouldn't have to do this, but you still have to do it in the folds, you know, if you want to make sure that you can really see your edges of your tree. I felt that the best way to do it was to marker your edges, and so I did that with I used the ink pad and went around all my edges, but that it wasn't enough to ensure that we got all of this inked. And this ink is a water-based marker, and it's from Stampin' Up, and it's an old red that's been discontinued called Red Riding Hood. So there you have my 2 cards. I thought that for my 7th card they were well worth the effort. I hope that you thought so too, that you give them a thumbs up and subscribe. Please tell your friends about me on social media because you know I love that. And hopefully we'll get Rich to do another day. But we might skip a day because tomorrow we have a doctor's appointment that's 2 hours away. I hope you enjoyed this, and thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.